Hey there, and welcome back to NarrativeFlow. My name is Mitch. I'm the creator of NarrativeFlow. This is part 3 of the 3-part walkthrough for NarrativeFlow. If you haven't seen part 1 and part 2, be sure to watch those first. It'll give you a lot of context. And then this video will be very clear to understand, very easy to understand. If you're watching this video on YouTube, there will be links to part 1 and part 2 in the description. If you're watching this video on the narrativeflow.dev documentation page, there will be links to part 1 and part 2 nearby. This video will actually probably be the shortest of all 3 parts, which is kind of nice. You've come this far, and this will be the shortest video for you. In this third and final part of the walkthrough, we'll discover the last few features in NarrativeFlow. We'll also talk about how you can use features that you've already learned about, specifically the quick access and text styles modals, and how to combine them in ways that are perhaps not as obvious, but will save you a lot of time. It's a very powerful way to use features. You can also combine quick access with variables, and that can be a very, very powerful thing to do. As a matter of fact, you can combine all 3, and I'll show you how that works today. You are so close to becoming a master at NarrativeFlow, so let's hop right into this third part here, and then you can get on your way to designing the narrative that you've always wanted to tell. So let's start by showing you how to combine quick access with text styles and or variables. This project that I have open here is a little demo project that I made to help me test NarrativeFlow when I was making it. And I built it out to a very short but kind of fun little game. It's similar to a certain board game, kind of a parody, if you will, on that game. So to show you these features, I'm actually going to open up a different experience here. You can see just how complex you can get. And this is actually a very simple example. This is a very simple conversation with the character Admiral Vance, and lots of questions and branches, etc. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. I'm going to open up this dialog node right here. In this dialog node, we can see that Admiral Vance references the player's name. And I have a variable here called player's name and square brackets. And you can see NarrativeFlow is replacing that in real time with the default value. When we're in the software NarrativeFlow, it will replace it with the default value. But in your engine, this would be replaced with whatever value player's name has at that time. So let's say that we wanted to style the player's name whenever it was inserted. Let's say that we wanted to give it a blue color whenever it shows up in our dialogue. Typing this doesn't necessarily roll off the tongue when typing, so to speak. So that can be in and of itself a little tedious to do. But then if you're adding text styles on top of it, you have to type this out. You have to come in here. You have to select it. You have to select insert style and then insert blue. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. NarrativeFlow makes it fast, but NarrativeFlow also gives you a way to make that even faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy that for my sake. And I'm going to get rid of that style. And this is right here is where I want to insert where I want to insert detective player's name, right? So I'm going to hit done, quick access. You can see I've got a bunch of already created items here for quick access. I'm going to do a new item group, and I'm going to call this one player. That way we can put all of our quick access items for a player here. And I'm going to say player's name, and in the value, I'm going to enter this. That way, when we click on player's name, the value that we inserted is detective player's name. And we can even see the presented text here. It's already, NarrativeFlow is already showing us what it will look like when we insert it. So I'm going to hit done. I'm going to go back into this dialog node. And as we saw previously in this walkthrough, I can put my cursor where I want to insert a quick access item and say insert player's name. And then from there, I can insert the style. But I'm supposed to show you how to speed this up even faster. So what we're going to do is go back into quick access. And the value that I want to insert is this, but I want it to be already styled. So I can select what I want to apply a style to in the quick access modal. I can say blue. It inserted our style for us. We can see the preview here. Let's go back to the dialog node. And whenever I insert this quick access item, you will see that it applied the style for us. So in just a couple of clicks, we inserted detective player's name, so that's a variable. And then we also inserted the style. This is going to save you so much time. It's going to save your fingers from so much complex typing. I was so proud of this feature, and I hope you're excited to use it as well. Also, real quick before we move on, there is nothing stopping you from using text styles or variables in your dialogue source. So let's say your player is saying something. If Admiral Vance wasn't saying this, say your player was saying something, there is nothing stopping you from putting styled text or even variables in your dialogue source up here. You can 100% do that and then just tell your game engine how to parse that. All right, the next thing that we're going to look at is the data table. In games, you know how when you hover over an item, or you perhaps are looking at an in-game codex, or you are looking at character skill descriptions, things like that, they'll have a description, text describing what that item is, what a region is, what a character skill does, etc. So it's not necessarily text that's in a chain format. It's not necessarily a conversation. So it doesn't really make sense for it to be in an experience. It doesn't make sense for it to be a narrative chain, but it does need to go somewhere. You do need a place to write this information. Well, thankfully, NarrativeFlow has a very awesome way to do this. Go ahead and click on the data table button here. This will open up the data table modal. You can see I have a lot of information in here. Well, not a lot for a game, but a lot from what we've seen earlier in the walkthroughs. There's some information in here already. Basically, this works pretty similar to your other modals that you've seen before. Go ahead and click new data group. You can call this whatever you want. The item name, it's a bit different than the label that I've talked about in quick access variables and text styles. In this case, the item name is simply the ID, the identifier, so to speak, that is used to reference the data that you associate with it. So in your game engine, you would say, hey, go ahead and retrieve the item that has this identifier, go ahead and give me the data that's associated with it, and then I'll display that in my game. So this could be, a skill description, a weapon description. So for example, actually, let's just do sword, right? And let's say we have a sword in our game and it needs a description, a sharp, pointy thing. Obviously, you would have a much more sophisticated explanation than that, but that gives you an idea. That way, in your game engine, you would say, oh, the player, their cursor is hovering over the sword object. Go ahead and retrieve this data, this item data that has the name of sword, and you'll get this text returned, and you can display it however you want. And just like quick access, we can, and all your other nodes, you can insert styles. Let's say I want this to be yellow. We inserted the style. We can see what it will look like over here and present a text. This is a really convenient way for you to be able to create non-conversational, non-narrative chain text in NarrativeFlow. All right, now that I've showed you how the data table works, I'm going to show you how the script view works. But before I do, I'm going to actually switch over to perhaps definitely a less complex experience here. I'm going to go to intro. Here, this is just a short little intro here that I created that is much simpler. There are two branches here. They lead to just one node, though. I will show you how a more complex one looks in script view in just a second, but I'm going to start with a simpler one so you can get a better idea of how script mode works. Now, what is script mode? Well, let's click on it and see. When we click script mode, it is going to display to us our narrative, specifically our narrative, not necessarily our logic. It will show to us our narrative in a more document-like or book-like format. So let's go ahead and click that and see what that looks like. Now, this might look like a lot at first, but if we look carefully, we can see that this is just following the same sequence that we have in our nodes. We've got a dialogue node, dialogue choice, dialogue, etc. And if we switch back, we can see that we've got a dialogue node, dialogue choice, and then a bunch of dialogue nodes. Switching back to script mode, we can see that we have two columns here. One, we can edit, we can type in here, and anything we type in here. So if I remove that and I just say, hey, and then I were to switch back to the nodes view, you can see that it's switched in the node itself. So any change that we make in nodes mode will be shown in script mode. and vice versa. Any change we make in script mode will show up in our nodes mode. These are not two separate sources of data. They are the same data. We're just viewing that same data from a different perspective. Now, the second column here, this is your presented text column. So if I were to style this text, actually, let's insert a variable as well. So I can use quick access here and I can say, hey, insert player's name. We've got our text style in there automatically. And when I switch back to nodes mode, you can see that it added our name in there. If this looks confusing, which is a completely fair statement, you can click either one of these settings to only show one. So let's say that I wanted to work on, I wanted to just edit my dialogue here, my narrative. I could click only show text inputs, and instead of showing me the presented text as well, just shows me the text inputs, and I can make any changes there. And let's say I just wanted to review my dialogue. I just wanted to see my narrative chain as the player may see it in your game engine. Well, you can just check that box right there, and I'm just seeing the presented text with it styled according to my text styles, my CSS rule definitions that I defined. Now, there were a couple important things that I just said there about script mode, and this is one of the main reasons why script mode was created in addition to the nodes mode. Script mode lets you very easily edit any grammar or look for typos. This will also be where you will enter translations for every choice and every dialogue node in your narrative. Script mode will be where you will enter in the translations for every different language that you want your game for. Those features are not ready yet. They are upcoming. So be sure to be on the lookout for those. Now, let's say that you're reading your narrative here, and you say, oh, hey, I wanted to make a change to this node right here. I want to make a change to this that is more than this. But maybe I put in the wrong dialogue source, which, by the way, this will show you the dialogue source or which choice each line is. Let's say I put in the wrong dialogue source or a property that I want to edit. I can click this little button right here, and it will take me directly to that node that I was reading. I can open it up, and I can put in whatever dialogue source I want. Now, let's say I want to do the other way. Let's say I have a node and I want to go find it in my script view. Well, I can do that. Let's say I want to find this choice. I can click on the three dots, or I can right click on the header and I can say go to script view item. It will switch me to script view and temporarily highlight that item that I wanted to go to. All right, now that we've seen script mode with a very simple node layout here, I'm going to show you in a much more complex experience and what that's like. So I'm going to switch to script mode now, and we can see a few things look different. Once again, it's kind of in this just document-like format, just top to bottom. But there are a couple more elements that we didn't see in our intro experience. Let's start here with this branch list item here. Whenever there is a branch in your narrative chain, so for example, we've got a branch right here, a choice that goes in 4 different directions. We'll see in our script view that we see 3 branches here. Now, why aren't there 4? We've got a 4th one here that goes to a teleport node. Well, that's exactly why. This teleport node doesn't lead to any other node in our experience. So this won't show up in our script mode. The branch list will just will only list the amount of branches that actually lead to a different narrative node in your experience. Now, if we were to click one of these branches, if I click on branch 1, it will scroll my view to where branch 1 goes to. And as you saw, it highlighted that item for a little bit too. This allows me to easily see where each branch, this choice node, it can go to multiple branches. It'll allow me to see where each branch goes to. So if I click branch 3 here, it'll scroll me way down the list, way down here to this choice item here. But let's say that I'm at an item and I want to see, hey, what links here? Well, I can click on go to branch origin. and it'll scroll me up to where that branch was. Now, something we didn't see in our intro experience as well is we didn't see these gray lines here. What does a gray line mean? We can see we've got a couple of gray lines in here, several gray lines actually. It basically means that the two neighboring items to that line are not connected. They are a different branch. So for example, if we go up here, we can see that we have our flow start, which is basically this start node right here. That leads into a choice node, a dialog node, a choice node. These three items are right next to each other, and there are no branches between them, right? So there's no gray line in between these items. But we do have a branch here after this choice node. And so the gray line basically tells us, hey, there's some kind of a break, there's some kind of a split here. So these two items they may be neighboring to each other. This one leads to this one, but this item is the start of a branch. And this one right here may be the next in the branch. So hopefully that makes sense. Something to note about the script view, and one of the reasons why I included both the nodes view and the script view is because editing dialogue like this, creating narrative in a document, especially if your narrative is dynamic or systems based or has lots of player choices, creating that in a document is very frustrating, as I'm sure you've probably experienced. So script view isn't so much about creating your narrative in a document view. It's more about reviewing your narrative, seeing if it flows right. It allows you to edit grammar, typos. It allows you to see your narrative at a glance rather than, all right, I need to hover over every dialogue and see what each one says, and maybe even open up every single node and see what I wrote there. Script view just lets you see what you've written. It lets you preview it as the player may see it in your game engine. Due to the nature of dynamic and branching narrative, script view will not display it perfectly. Script mode is already very powerful, and it offers a very convenient way to get a different view, a different perspective of your narrative. Nonetheless, I will continue to look for ways to improve script mode. All right, that is the end of this 3-part walkthrough for NarrativeFlow. By the end of this walkthrough, if you've been following along, you know all the features, and I think it's pretty fair to say that you have mastered how to use this software. You did it. Congratulate yourself. Maybe grab yourself a bowl of ice cream or something. Before I close out this video, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching this walkthrough and coming along on this journey with me. Truly, it means a lot to me. I am just one person who wanted to create some software. I'm a narrative designer myself. I'm working on some very, very large titles, and I needed tools that would facilitate those titles. So I decided to take the time to make NarrativeFlow. It has taken me a very, very long time to get this out, but it would have gone faster had I gone with a big tech company, had I let them have control over it, and I didn't want that. I wanted to offer a software where you could make your narrative dreams come true. And I hope that you can see the power that NarrativeFlow offers to you. And I truly do look forward to everything that you create with NarrativeFlow. So thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting others. By supporting NarrativeFlow, you get to help them create their narrative as well. And you get to be part of a wonderful community of like-minded narrative designers who get to change the world through incredible stories. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate that. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will look forward to the experiences that you create with NarrativeFlow.